जो मत
नहीं नहीं, मेरा कंफ्यूजन है नहीं, पर हाँ चलो, अभी हम शुरू करेंगे हमारे प्रेयर्स के साथ, ठीक है। कहाँ गए शेयर? ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं
करुणालयम्
नमामि
नमामि
भगवत्पादं
भगवत्पादं
शंकरं
शङ्करं
लोकशंकरम्।
लोकशङ्करम्।
मैं एक लाइन बोलती हूँ, आप दूसरा लाइन बोलो।
ठीक है।
शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम्
सूत्र भाष्य कृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः।
सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्।
ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने
व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
ओम श्री दयानंदेश्वराय नमः।
बोल के नहीं?
अभी मैं बोलूंगी, आप फॉलो करना, हाँ?
ठीक
श्री
ठीक।
हरिम परमानंदम
श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम्
उपदेष्टारमीश्वरम्
उपदेष्टारमीश्वरम्
व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां
व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां
कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्।
कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्।
अभी 14 वाला देखेंगे, क्योंकि ये पूरा सिलसिला उधर से शुरू हुआ है। ओके। अज्ञान प्रभवं सर्वं
अज्ञानप्रभवं सर्वं
ज्ञानेन प्रविलीयते
ज्ञानेन प्रविलीयते।
संकल्पो विविधः कर्ता
संकल्पो विविधः कर्ता
विचारसोऽयमीदृशः
विचारसोऽयमीदृशः।
एतयोर्यदुपादानम्
एतयोर्यदुपादानम्
एकं सूक्ष्मं सदव्ययम्
एकं सूक्ष्मं सदव्ययम्।
यथैव मृत्घटादीनां
यथैव मृद्घटादीनां
विचारसोऽयमीदृशः
विचारसोऽयमीदृशः।
अहमेकोऽपि सूक्ष्मश्च
अहमेकोऽपि सूक्ष्मश्च
ज्ञाता साक्षी सदव्ययः
ज्ञाता साक्षी सदव्ययः।
तदहं नात्र सन्देहः
तदहं नात्र सन्देहः।
विचारसोऽयमीदृशः
विचारसोऽयमीदृशः।
Okay, so in verse number 14 we were told Ajnanam Prabhavam Sarvam. Sarvam Ajnana Prabhavam. Meaning the universe is born of ignorance. Jnanena Praviliyate. Right? Disappears by knowledge. Then we were told that Sankalpa Vividak Karta. So many different Sankalpas are there by the whole universe. Iti. And they are the creator of the universe. Iti. Vividak Karta. And this is the manner of inquiry. Okay. Then in the next verse we saw Etayor Yadupadanam Ekam Sukshmam Sad Avyayam यथैव मृत घटादीनां विचार सोयम ईदृशः. Then, so we started with ignorance is the cause of the universe. And an offshoot of ignorance is sankalpa or desire. Naturally, because when ignorance is there, knowledge of Purnata is not there. Knowledge of Purnata not being there, there will be desire, sankalpa for becoming Purna. And then one will have different types of sankalpa because you don't know your Purna iti. And that is the cause of this universe iti. Now in 15th verse, we are going little deeper. We are saying, okay, Ajnanam was the cause. But then what is the cause of Ajnanam iti? Okay, so it is said, Eta yoho of the two. Which two? That is Ajnanam and Sankalpa. What is the material cause for Ajnanam and Sankalpa? It is said that it is Ekam Sat. Sat, which is Ekam. Existence, the principle of existence, which is Ekam alone. And what kind of existence it is? Unchanging existence. Okay, existence which doesn't change. And what is it? It's Ekam and it is Sukshma. It's Avyayam Sat, unchanging Sat. It is Ekam and it is Sukshma. And he says the Upadana Karanam, just like clay is the Upadanam Karanam for pot, in the same way, this Sat, Ekam Sat, Avyayam Sat, Ekam Avyayam Sat, which is Sukshma, is the cause for this Ajnanam and for Sankalpa iti. Okay. Then Swamiji under this pointed out that here we cannot infer. Usually what do? From the effect we infer the cause. But here in this case, Swamiji pointed out the cause of the universe cannot be inferred and we have to resort to Shruti, iti. Yeah? Okay. Why is it that we cannot infer it? Swamiji gives us that on page 159. Because we cannot perceive this Satchidananda, which is Jagat Karanam, because it's the very nature of the perceiver. Being the very nature of the perceiver. What is the nature of the perceiver? This Sat. Ekam Sat, which is Avyayam, iti, which is Sukshma, is the very nature of the perceiver. So it is not out there somewhere, Swamiji says. Universe is out there, but the cause is right here, iti. And that is why nobody can find out the cause. Because the one who is searching, it's right there. The cause is right there, iti. Nobody can ever suspect that the universe is, which is material, gross and perceptible, has a cause which is subtle and imperceptible. Okay. Then Swamiji also points out that the cause of the universe has got no attributes or characteristics. Iti? Okay. And he says there is a quantum leap, meaning there's a huge leap from effect to cause, and that is only through Shabda Pramana we can find out what is the cause. Okay. And nothing much after that, then it's another. Yeah, okay. Then Swamiji points out here that somebody asked him what is the relationship. Okay, when he pointed out that what is the model for creation in Vedanta, Swamiji said rope snake model. Swamiji made the quantum leap. He said rope snake model is the model for creation. Iti. So what is the relationship between rope and snake? Iti. No relationship. Why no relationship? Because there are two orders of reality. Yeah. So he makes a very important point that you can use inference only when the cause is of the same degree of reality as the effect. But if the effect is 1 degree of reality and the cause is something else, then you cannot use inference. You know what is inference? Inference is wherever there is smoke, there is fire. Means we made an inference. But you can't do that kind of inference here because there are 2 degrees of reality. You can doesn't work here because the cause is satya and the effect is mithya. Okay. Now we come to the next verse. Okay. Aham ekopi sukshmascha ज्ञाता साक्षी सदव्ययः तदहम नात्र संदेहः विचार सोयमीदृशः. अरे वाह, Suni uncle is here. So we are looking here. Aham ekah api sukshmascha. Now in the previous one it was said that the cause of Ajnanam and Sankalpa is Sat, which is Ekam, Avyayam, Suksham. In this verse, it is pointed out that hello uncle, Namo Narayanaya, good to see you. Chala gaya. That I is also Ekam, Sukshmam. Okay. So I am subtle, I am Sukshmam, I am one. Iti. What else am I? Jnata, the knower. And I am Sakshi, the witness. Which is what? It is Sat. I am the knower, I am Sukshma, I am one alone, I am Sakshi. And what is that? It is Sat. That is also Sat iti. Meaning it is unchanging existence. So earlier he showed that the cause of the universe is Brahman, which is Sat, Ekam, Sukshmam, Avyayam. Here also he is saying, hey, look at me. I. What is the content of this I, of the ego? The essence of the ego is that unchanging existence or consciousness, iti, which is Ekam, which is Sukshmam, which is the knower, which is the Sakshi. Okay. So here, then Swamiji goes on to there is only one subject, that I am one alone. Okay. So he just unfolds that point. And then he says, I have no attributes because all attributes are known to I. This is a very important line. All attributes, if anything has got an attribute, I am the one who knows it. If I know the attribute, then I am the knower of the attribute. I can't be the attribute. For example, I am the knower of gray hair. And nowadays, no hair. Okay. So, gray hair, attribute. Attribute of what? Gray is attribute of the hair. And hair is attribute of the body. Now, I am the one who knows the gray hair. Okay. Therefore, I am free of that attribute. Being the knower of the gray hair, I am the one who is free of the gray hair. Okay. Very important line actually, if you look at it. So anything which you know, you are free of. That is what it means. Anything which you know. I know my age. I know I can't even say my age. I know the age of this body. Therefore, I am not the age. I know the color of this body. Therefore, I am not the color. I know this body. Therefore, I am not the body. Iti. Because there is a distinction between the knower and the known. I am the subject. All this is the object. Iti. So you can see in page 162, the last paragraph, he says, I has no attributes because all attributes are known to the I. Who is the Sakshi witness. So that same thing is unfolded in that. I objectify hot, cold, tall, short, etc., etc. Okay. So who am I? The one who is free of all attributes, iti. Okay.
We can say I am Sakshi,
Yeah, I'm Sakshi who is free of attributes. I'm
free of
Sakshi.
attributes.
As a Sakshi also, know yourself to be free of the attributes, iti. Then he says, who are you? Attributeless. Okay. Who is anyone else?
Attributeless.
Yeah. So how many attributeless things can they be? Supposing something has got no attribute, absolutely no attribute, then it can be only one. Because
They say
attribute is what distinguishes one thing from another, right? So that means if I am attributeless consciousness, okay, you are attributeless consciousness, uncle is attributeless consciousness, that means what? We are one. No difference. Yeah. Okay. Then what is different? Body is different, mind is different, experiences we have all had are different. Iti. All this is different. But the essential consciousness which is there, enlivening and illuminating all the differences, that consciousness is one and it is unchanging. Then he comes to the cause of the universe and I are the same. The cause of the universe is Eka and I am also Eka. It is Sukshma, subtle, okay. So all this is all very important portions, that
Mm.
that means I am not somebody who can be perceived. I am aprameya. I cannot be perceived. I am sukshma. Iti. Look at this, there's very tight logic here. On second paragraph, page 163. For something to be known, it must be an object of knowledge. So the minute I say I know something, supposing I say know this pencil,
The object.
immediately this is an object. Anything that I know is an object. हाँ,
Pencil.
pencil, pen जो भी है इति.
नहीं, what I'm saying, our pencil. We are not finding it here.
Oh,
Same.
but this is your pencil, is it?
No.
It jumped from there to here without problem because everything is
Quantum
one.
jump.
Quantum jump. Exactly, uncle. Yeah, it is a quantum jump. So the knower must be different from the known. For me to know myself, this is all very, very tight logic, okay? For me to know myself, the self that I know must simultaneously become an object of knowledge, and the self that knows must become the subject of knowledge. So I must simultaneously be the knower and the known. But the rule is that the knower is different from the known. So one entity cannot be simultaneously karta and karma. Therefore, I can never be objectified. I am aprameya.
Yes, I've written this last time.
And sukshma. Okay. Then he says, I am the jnata, sakshi, and therefore free from all attributes. That's okay. I am sat. Okay. Then he points out, so I am sat. Jagat Karana is also sat. Therefore, I is equal to sat. And what about Jagat Karana? It is avyaya. It was mentioned in the previous verse. Okay. Ekam sad avyayam sukshmam was mentioned in previous verse. So this Jagat Karana was what was talked about in previous verse. And it was told to be avyaya, that which cannot perish. So the I is imperishable because there is nothing to destroy it. I is the same as Jagat Karana, and I is also, therefore I is also avyaya. Nothing can destroy it. Okay. Then he makes a very interesting point. First, we came to know that I doesn't have any attributes. Now, what can be destroyed? Something which has attributes can be destroyed, right? Because attributes can change, attributes can die, iti, they can, this thing, they can change from their nature, iti. But then the other thing is, anything which has got parts, that can also disintegrate, iti. But the I doesn't have any parts, nor it has got any attributes. And therefore, this I is changeless. What is a better logic? Even another logic for I being changeless is that without I being changeless, how is it possible to know change? That's also a very good, way of knowing the changelessness of I, the true I. Let's put it like that, the true I. Iti. Then we have done all this. See how intelligently it's put here. You arrive at Jagat Karana, cause of the universe, as Ekam Sukshmam Sat Avyaya. And then you find that I is also Eka Sukshma Sat Avyaya. Iti. Okay. Yeah. Now comes the fun. Okay, the part we have not done. Okay, now let's look at this. Creation requires only consciousness. If there is no substance, how can I take the I and make a pot out of it? Vedanta says you don't need a substance for this. All you need is sankalpa. Sankalpa vividak karta. Now, let's look at a very interesting, so I'm going to do some drawings now because this is very abstract. Oh no, it's not from here. Whiteboard. Okay. So I'm going to draw a pot here. Pot. Okay. Now, this pot has to be known. So it is perceived by me from the mind, this is the I. Okay. Your I is there, and from here, vritti goes out in every direction, picks up the pot. And what happens is you get pot in the mind. So this is the pot outside. Okay. Pot outside. And this is your pot in the mind. Okay. Thus the pot has got formed in the mind. Okay. Now Swamiji says the pot is not different from pot thought. Because you know that there is a pot only when there is a thought of the pot. Pot, thought. How will you know there is a pot outside? Only if there is a pot thought in your mind, you can know there is a pot, right? Unless that thought has occurred in your mind. So what you're actually seeing is the pot thought, iti. When there is the perception of a pot, the pot thought takes place in the mind. Do you see this pot? If you say yes, you will say yes only when there is a thought in your mind that corresponds to the pot. Iti. So your mind reaches out through the sense organs and takes the form of the pot, and the pot thought is formed in your mind. Okay? Okay. Therefore, pot can be established that this pot is there can be established only when there is a pot thought in the mind. Agreed? Okay, only when the pot thought, pot is, pot exists. Pot is equal to pot exists.
Mm.
This, you will be able to say pot exists only when a pot thought takes place in your mind.
Mm.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. If pot thought is, pot is. If pot thought is, if pot thought is there, it means pot is there. Not necessarily, but anyway, for the time being, we'll take it. If pot thought is there, that means pot is there. Okay? Okay. If pot thought is not there, then pot is not there. Hmm?
Mm.
Okay. Okay. And look at what he says. And the pot thought can take place only when there is a pot in your mind.
Mm.
Not incorrect. It's okay. मैंने इसको ये लाइन को बहुत बार देखा. Okay. Pot thought can take place only when there is a pot in your mind. Okay. So can you say that the object and the object thought are two different things?
No.
That the object and the object thought are two different things? I can. Actually, I can. But for the time being, we will say no. You know why? If you look at the outside pot, the outside pot, let's look, this is the body, border of the body. So the outside pot is stula.
Mm.
The inside pot is sukshma. Here there
Space.
is no sukshma sharira.
Mm-hmm.
So only the sat aspect of consciousness is here actually. And here this is sukshma. Yeah, so that difference is there. But anyway, for the time being, we will say, so can you say that the object and the object thought are two different things? We are saying no. When we are saying object and object thought are two different things, all with reference to the mind. Are they two different things? No. Iti.
No.
Can there be one without the other? No. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
In the mind. Don't look at the outside stuff. In the mind, there is a pot thought, and the pot thought is there because there is a pot in the mind. Where pot thought and pot is the same thing. Okay. No, they are only one. Therefore, this therefore is very different. What is out there is nothing more than a thought, and a thought is nothing more than what is out there. This thing I am contesting a little bit in my head. Therefore, what is out there is nothing more than a thought. Not really, because that stula aspect is there. So I'm not ready to accept this, Swamiji's, this part of his explanation. So I will, and there's no way I can talk to Swamiji about it. The only thing I can do is go to Sakshat Ji and ask him that,
Mm-hmm.
go with the book on this thing. It will not work. So maybe on Shivratri, I'm going there to Rishikesh. He may be too busy that day. So what is out? So what is out there is nothing more than a thought. And a thought is, this part is okay. A thought is nothing more than what is out there. That part I can accept. But that what is out there is nothing more than a thought. In a way, it is correct also. Because without it taking place in the mind, you cannot establish that there is a pot outside. The pot thought has to be there. Only then you can establish that there's a pot outside. Even though pot may be sitting outside, but unless you get the pot thought, there is as good as no pot. Iti. So that is what he probably means. Eh? What is out there is nothing more than a thought. And a thought is nothing more than what is out there. So now he comes to this big thing in the next paragraph. Look at this. Next para. Uncle J. आपके बुक को देखो. Next para.
Guru,
The
1 minute.
हाँ.
1 minute.
Hmm.
This pot thought
Hmm.
can come out of the memory.
Oh yeah, it can come out of the memory. And it can come
Then-
out of imagination also.
Imagination also.
Can come
So
out of
there is no-
memory, can come out of imagination, you know. Therefore, we have to take all this with a pinch of salt. मुझे लगता है ये स्वामी जी का जो इधर का एक्सप्लेनेशन है, इसको थोड़ा पिंच ऑफ सॉल्ट के साथ लेना पड़ेगा. Okay, we will put conditions here for this. That is that there is a pot outside there, because we started with that there is a pot out there, and then the I through the sense organ the vritti went out, took the form of the pot, and the pot thought was formed in the mind. We started from there.
Come on, we
Yeah.
know what is, how it looks.
And from memory, of course, we know what is pot. Otherwise, this we won't be able to say pot thought. We'll have to say thought. Already, because memory is there, we know that this is a pot. Now, what happens is, supposing थोड़ा पागलपन है, तो आउटसाइड तो पॉट है, पर अंदर वो आदमी को एलिफेंट दिखता होगा. So what is outside is pot, but the fellow sees elephant. That is a different case. We won't look into that case. That is imagination. Okay. So now let's look at what Swamiji has to say. The substance for all this world of names and forms is but thought. And thought is nothing but consciousness in that form. Consciousness assuming a name and form is called thought. So the substance with which anything is made is of consciousness. So, why? What is this so, yaar? This is just a way of explaining. Okay? The substance, because it's very easy for us to say that the substance of which this pot is made is Sat. Existence is very easy for us to see, na? Because the isness is easy to see. Is. But that it is consciousness is not easy for us to see, because that Sukshma Sharira not being there. Therefore, I think Swamiji has used this way of explaining to bring out that this pot is nothing but thought, and thought is nothing but consciousness, and therefore pot is nothing but consciousness. Very lamba. I'll try that again. I'll try repeating again. I'll see if I'll be able to repeat. Okay. See, this is isness, right? Isness is very easy to understand. That the pot is isness. But the pot is consciousness is not easy to understand. So Swamiji, what he does is, he wants to prove that the pot is nothing but a thought. Okay? Fine, we agreed with that. And we know that thought is nothing but consciousness in a particular name and form. Right? Therefore, pot is nothing but consciousness. Iti. He's gone about it like that. This pot is nothing but consciousness. This pot, of course, is nothing but consciousness, but this pot also is nothing but consciousness. Iti.
Guru
So the
Ma,
substance with which anything is made is nothing but consciousness, which is existence. Batao.
If is or exists, he are taken to be equivalent to Sat.
Yeah, is existence is Sat only. Is equal to Sat.
If it is Sat, it is consciousness.
Yeah, exactly. But for anybody to understand, existence principle is very easy to understand, no? This is, that is. Even
Yeah.
Jada things we are able to understand as existence. But
That's
Jada
right.
Vastu to understand as consciousness is not easy.
Sat has to be taken as consciousness.
That's what. Then Sat will have
Only
to
one. Only Sat
they,
is consciousness.
yeah. But for that, so much of Vedanta is required, no? That Sat is equal to Chit.
Sat is Chit.
Sat is Chit. Should become
And
very clear, then it becomes easy. Then that thing outside is also nothing but consciousness.
Sat is Chit. Chit is Sat.
Hmm.
And
Sat
both are
is,
Anand. Anant.
and yeah. There is no both. There is only one. Eh? Sat is Ananda. Okay.
Looks like it too.
Now look at this again. Swamiji वो ऐसे give up नहीं करते हैं. Next paragraph. This pot is nothing different from pot thought. And the thought must be illumined by consciousness. Just as pot is not separate from pot thought is not separate from consciousness. All that there is consciousness. So consciousness is the substance of the pot, and the thought is the substance of the pot in the mind. And the thought is the substance of the pot. And I put us in my own words, in the mind, the pot in the mind. Ultimately, the only substance in the universe is consciousness. Ekam Sukshmam Sad Avyayam, through which thought acquires a force and becomes the tangible universe. Iti. Like the dream we use as a model, this world is nothing.
1 minute.
हाँ 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 बताओ हम भी ट्राई करेंगे. हाँ
ये जो लिखा है, ultimately the only substance in the universe is consciousness. Ekam Sukshmam Sat Sadavayam,
हाँ,
through which thought acquires a force. ये force कहाँ से आ गई?
Creative force means force is only the that Maya Shakti. Yaar. Thought is also nothing but Maya Shakti, which is creating this world of name and form. Iti.
That's right.
So I will take it like that and creates. So basically, what he wants to say is your sankalpa, because sankalpa vividak karta was said earlier. So your thought is the one which is creating this university. He's coming back to that theme basically. So thought is the one which becomes the tangible universe. Thought creates the tangible universe. Okay?
Okay.
Very mystical all this. Anyway, like the dream we use as a model. This world is nothing but the manifestation of the true self. If you take anything and try to find out what its material is, it will turn out to be consciousness. In that way, aham, which is I am, tat, that, Brahman, that I am that Brahman, na atra sandeha, there is no doubt about it. Okay? So this is the conclusion that you arrive at, that what is Brahman. You can call it Brahman, or you can call it self, or I, or Sat, or Chit, or Ananda, or Asti Bhati Priyam. So many names for I. All that is Brahman, which is the self. That is the substance from which this whole universe is made. This is the way Vichara is carried out. It is always with assistance. This is a very important point. It is always with the assistance of the scriptures and not as an independent vichara. Always with assistance of scriptures. The thinking is guided by the scriptures and the teacher. Now let's come to Uncle Ji. You read the next portion. This portion we will again see next time. I will read what Paramathanandaji also has to say next time, and we will look at it again. Why don't I see myself as Brahman?
The next question is, if I am Brahman, how come I don't know that? Why do I think that I am an individual? You said that Tat Tvamasi, I am Brahman, but my perception about myself is quite different. I think that I am man, woman, happy, unhappy, tall, short, successful, failure, whatever. Why do I look upon myself this way, even though I am a Brahman? This Eka Satta Aveya is limitless, imperishable. Yet I say I am limited and mortal. Who says that? The imperishable says that. Who says that I am helpless creature? The limitless says that. Who says that I am just one among many and always attacked by the whole world? The non-dual says that. How can it happen? That is why this is so mind-boggling. Everybody is totally thrown off by this.
You see, it's very interesting. He says over here, who says that? And he says the imperishable says that. Why do we say the imperishable says that? Because there's nothing else here.
But the thought has come in the mind.
That is okay, but who is the primary, what is the primary thing over here which is saying? You can say ego says that. But actually, what is the ego? Ego has no satyata in it. So the real thing is only consciousness. And there is only one thing here. So only the imperishable can say that. There are no two things. There is no two things here. There is not consciousness and mind. No. Iti.
Thought comes out of vasanas.
Yeah. Where did the vasanas come? Where did the first vasana come from? Iti. Okay. Anyway, now carry on with that. The Vedanta's answer is that
I look upon myself as contrary to what I am due to ignorance. Ignorance causes the mutual superimposition that Sri Shankaracharya discussed in his brilliant introduction to the Brahma Sutra. Here he establishes that there is ignorance in our life. The very statements I make about myself, I feel about myself and the world, all reveal ignorance.
Auntie, ignorance is inferred from contrary knowledge.
From contrary knowledge. In Vedanta, we talk about ajnana, ignorance, and viprita jnana, contrary knowledge. The rule is that contrary knowledge or delusion is always born of ignorance. Snake is a delusion born of the ignorance of rope. Vipreet jnana is a situation in which a thing is taken to be quite contrary to what it is. The rope is taken to be a snake, or the limitless is taken to be limited. The false notion of snake can arise only when I do not know the rope as rope. The false notion about I will arise only when I don't know I as I am. When I say I was born, that is contrary knowledge. You can say that the body was born, but the notion that I was born on such and such date is Vipreet Jnana.
Yes. So we have to say, no, when supposing you ask Swamini ji, when is your birthday? I will
Hmm.
say the birth date of this body.
Yes.
Oh, all birthdays gone.
बर्थडे ऑफ द बॉडी मना सकते हैं ना.
बना सकते हैं ना, पर
हाँ
बॉडी तो
Yeah.
आती और जाती है.
We are
हाँ,
celebrating
वो तो
birthday of
पता
the
ही
body.
होता है. बर्थ डेट भी है,
हाँ.
डेथ डेट भी है बॉडी की. बर्थ.
Uh, birth is an attribute of the body that I superimpose on myself. That's true. Uh, our entire life reveals this Viprit Jnana. Delusion can exist only when there is ignorance. So that is how we establish the existence of ignorance in our life.
So
You
that is
can't
what, हाँ, okay, हाँ, say, हाँ.
you can't perceive ignorance. So it is inferred from the contrary knowledge. Thus, Ajnana is inferred from Viprit Jnana.
विपरीत ज्ञाना इति. Huh? Okay. So ignorance is inferred from the viparita jnana. And with that, we will stop because this next portion is again on adhyasa. It is going to be, it is good. Okay? Subject and object are always distinct and contrary.
Today's
With
meeting.
that, we can halt. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat. We can continue if you like. But it's 6 o'clock.
Yeah, okay, it's enough.
Yeah. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi
Hari
Om.
Om.
Okay.
थैंक यू गुरु माँ प्रणाम. और
Om.
शिवरात्रि में हमको भी जाना चाहिए. बड़े साल हो गए हैं.
तो चलो चले.
इस बार 7 लोग ले रहे हैं संन्यास. मैं तो 14th को ही चली जाऊंगी और
हाँ
उधर
हाँ.
कोई जगह नहीं है बिकॉज देयर सम कैंप इज गोइंग ऑन. तो
ओ
उन्होंने मुझे पार्टी जी के वहां रूम दिया है.
अच्छा, फिर मुश्किल
I
है
was
ना.
said I want a big room also because Tanvi is also with me, So
हाँ.
we'll all three of us be in one room. Me, Tanvi, and Varsha.
अच्छा
It's
अच्छा.
only one night, 2 nights actually. Maybe 15th also we'll stay over.
ओके.
ये लोग मेरे स्नोर के साथ कैसे सोएंगे भगवान ही जाने. बट लेट मी स्टॉप.